Did you and Heliar catch up?
We did.
Did you tell her that you fucked her outie at the Orpo?
In this episode, the fallout from the disastrous outdoor retreat team-building occurrence at Woe's Hollow sets off a series of revelations that shake up our characters' lives. We see mysterious figures, subtle clues, and major shifts that promise even darker twists ahead. Let's break down every crucial moment from the episode's opening scene to its chilling ending. The mystery man in the exports hall.
Do you have him?
First, let's talk about that enigmatic man in the opening scene. We see him roll a cart loaded with what appear to be surgical, or maybe dental, tools through the corridors of Lumon, all while casually whistling Gordon Lightfoot's The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald. For those who may not know, this haunting song recounts the tragic sinking of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald in 1975 with a strong Milwaukee connection. Why is this significant? Well, when a Lumon employee later mentions canceling his Milwaukee vacation,
we had to cancel our trip to Milwaukee, thanks for that.
It hints that this mysterious courier might be linked to Fields. This man, whose face is deliberately obscured, is more than just a background character. He's a subtle nod to Lumon's secretive operations on the testing floor, and might even be our first real clue about the exports hall and its connection to the fate of Gemma. It's these meticulously planted details that keep fans theorizing about what's really going on inside Lumon. Drummond and Helena's four tempers.
The medical team says your tempers will rebalance quickly.
Good to hear.
Next, we turn to a seemingly offhand remark that carries huge weight. After Helena's traumatic experience on the severed floor, Drummond tells her to get back to work, insisting that her four tempers will soon realign. This isn't just corporate jargon. It's a direct reference to a quote by Keir Egan, who famously identified four essential components of a human soul.
In my life, I have identified four components, which I call tempers.
Woe, frolic, dread, and malice. By urging Helena to tame these tempers, Drummond is not only reinforcing the cult-like loyalty demanded by the Egan family, but also revealing how deeply entrenched these rituals are within Lumon's identity. Helena's inner turmoil and her secret hatred for her outie life is laid bare in this moment. It's a stark reminder that to be part of Lumon, one must conform entirely to its twisted ideology. This comment underscores the price of loyalty in Lumon's world, a price that Helena pays every time she's forced to sacrifice her true self.
They're fucking animals.
Dylan's discovery behind the Hang in There poster. Moving on to one of the episode's most pivotal moments, Dylan's discovery behind the Hang in There poster. At the end of the previous episode, Irving's parting words, "Hang in there," seems simple enough. But in episode 5, Dylan realizes there's more to that message. Behind this seemingly motivational poster in Lumon's break room, he finds a hidden map with directions leading directly to the exports hall. This isn't just a quirky piece of office decor, it's a major plot revelation. The map not only hints at secret routes within Lumon, but may also be the key to finding Gemma, who is suspected to be held on the testing floor. Dylan now stands at a crossroads. Will he risk everything by following these directions to expose Lumon's dark secrets, or will he conform to avoid further conflict? This moment cements the episode as one where every small detail could hold explosive consequences.
He would have been totally justified in telling me to suck my own fuck.
Mark's inner conflict and the outie quest.
Why won't you talk to me?
What do you want to talk about, Helly?
I don't know, maybe the fact that Miss Casey's your outie's wife?
Meanwhile, we see Mark grappling with his own identity crisis. Once driven by a desire to reconnect with his outie's wife, Mark now feels a deep betrayal after uncovering the truth about Helena's manipulations. His brief moments of human curiosity and emotion, once fueled by his growing connection with Helly, are now overshadowed by the harsh reality of his severed existence. Mark's reintegration process, which should ideally bring him closer to wholeness, instead leaves him conflicted and even more isolated. He's determined to bury his emotions and focus solely on his work, unaware that his outie self has other plans. This internal struggle not only sets the stage for future confrontations, but also questions whether any semblance of humanity can survive under Lumon's oppressive regime. Milchick's performance review and shifting allegiance.
Welcome, Mr. Milchick. Today I will be conducting your monthly performance review.
Next up is Milchick's performance review, a scene that reveals a lot more than just corporate reprimands. Once seen as a potentially humane manager, Milchick now faces a stark reality. During his review, he's forced to acknowledge that his softer, kindness reform policies have failed to produce the desired results. Drummond reminds him that if Mark's Cold Harbor file isn't completed, it will be remembered as a pivotal moment in history. Facing this pressure, Milchick vows to tighten his control over the employees,
I'm tightening the leash.
even threatening Mark directly about his personal transgressions. This development hints at a potential shift in Milchick's allegiance. His inner conflict might just lead him to question Lumon's methods, setting the stage for a possible rebellion from within. It's a tantalizing hint that not everyone at Lumon is as loyal as they appear. Devon versus Ricken, the first real tiff.
Babe, it's the literal opposite of what you were saying before.
Not to be overlooked is the explosive scene between Devon and Ricken. For the first time, we see Ricken unleash barbed remarks that catch Devon off guard. Devon fires back with enormous doubts about the heavily edited version of the UUR that Ricken is churning out for Lumon. His suggestion that she might be taking the lifestyle provided for her for granted doesn't sit well, and it even earns the disapproval of Mark's sister. This confrontation not only deepens the divide between these characters, but also marks the first moment many of us start to dislike Ricken. It's a turning point that adds another layer of tension to the episode.
I think either's really good.
Irving's covert phone booth call. Let's address Irving's mysterious phone booth scene. Although Irving has been fired from Lumon, he isn't entirely out of the game. In a tense moment, he makes a covert call in a payphone, hinting that his Audi might be involved in a larger operation against Lumon. We've seen hints of Irving's military background before, and here he appears to be using those skills for something more than just survival. His message:
They fired me. I think they knew what my India was up to. I'm telling
to suggest that his firing wasn't random. It points toward a covert network, perhaps even a rebel faction, working to dismantle Lumon from the outside. This clandestine communication leaves us with more questions than answers, but it's clear that Irving's storyline is far from over. Mark's slow reintegration process.
Are we gonna...
One more day.
Finally, Mark's internal struggle intensifies. We've seen hints of reintegration before. Remember the flickering faces of Helly and Ms. Casey in episode 4? This week, we learned that Dr. Rigabi is deliberately taking the process slow to avoid the dangerous side effects that killed Petey. At the end of the episode, as Mark walks upstairs out of his basement, his reality starts to fracture. The walls of his house and Lumon's sterile corridors begin to flicker in and out. Then he hears Ms. Casey's soothing wellness lines echoing, a sound that isn't from the outside world, but from the severed floor itself. And then there she is. His wife, staring at him like a stranger, the woman he thought was dead. Adam Scott delivers a heart-wrenching performance here, capturing the agony of seeing a loved one transformed into an unrecognizable enigma. As we wrap up our breakdown of Trojan's Horse, it's evident that this episode weaves together personal betrayals and corporate intrigue with masterful subtlety. From the mystery man in the exports hall and Drummond's cryptic advice to Helena, to Dylan's shocking find and Mark's inner conflict, every scene builds toward a climax that promises answers, if not more questions. What do you think the map behind the hang in their poster really means? Will Milchick's potential shift spark a rebellion from within Lumon? And how deep does Irving's covert network run? Let us know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive into Severance. Thanks for watching.